All right, everyone. Happy New Year from Jared from TechWorks here. And as you might be looking at this phone right here, this is the Galaxy Note 8. And with that, you're probably wondering, well, geez, it's now January 2018. Why are you doing a review on a phone that was released over the summer of 2017? Well, there's a couple of reasons. So one, the Note 8 is still very relevant, especially coming into the new year with what Samsung is doing with the Galaxy S9. And so far, all the leaks are saying that it's going to be more of an S upgrade, as Apple does, versus a major redesign. All the more reason to look at this past year's phones, both the S8 Duo and the Note 8, as a viable option for your phone for the year or for the foreseeable future. I didn't do a review on it in the summer because I wasn't doing videos at the time. But with that, we have the Note 8 here in front of me. And also, why I'm reviewing it now is with a lot of the holiday sales, with a lot of the carrier deals, this phone isn't the $900 monstrosity it was when it was released. Now you can get it for a few $100s off here, get a wireless charging dock, you can get the Gear VR with it. There's a whole bunch of promotions going on, making this device much more affordable than it was, especially in comparison to maybe the iPhone 10 or even of the Pixel 2. There isn't really many sales on those devices yet. Samsung always does a lot of good sales. So with this is the US unlocked version. So it has the Snapdragon 835, 6 gigabytes of RAM, 64 gigabytes of storage, micro SD card slot, headphone jack, and S Pen, and it is IP68 water resistant. So I'm going to do a quick, I'm going to digress quickly about smartphone RAM real quick. So in my last video, or a few videos ago, I mentioned the OnePlus 8 or OnePlus 5T has 8 gigabytes of RAM. And my little quick speed test was in everyday apps. That is your phone app. That is your text messaging app. That is stuff that you and I are going to use every single day. Now, when I made that video, I made a comment that that 8 gigabytes of RAM to open up all your apps like calendar and calculator. So I wasn't legitimately saying that 8 gigs is really going to speed up your calculator. My comment was more in line with the fact that 8 gigabytes of RAM for an everyday person is somewhat overkill, meaning that this phone has 6, the Pixel 2 has 4, and Apple's usually have 3. My point in that is saying the Pixel 2 XL is going to perform just as good on day-to-day tasks as the Note 8, just as good as phones with 3 gigabytes of RAM. Apple continues to impress with low RAM amounts and great performance. And my point of the OnePlus 5T having 8 is that there isn't necessarily a significant difference in performance doing everyday tasks. Now, if you were doing a 4K video edit, yeah, it's probably going to make a marginal difference. And I say marginal because there's a lot of other factors that go into it. There can be thermals with your CPU. There can be a lot of other things. There's a lot of other factors that come into speed. So my comment wasn't unfounded saying that, that 8 gig is used for clock. But is not significantly seen in your day-to-day use as an everyday person. If you're a power user, yes, you're going to want it. It is going to make a difference. There's a lot of things that play into it. But again, back to the Note 8. So I have the blue color here. So the blue color is very nice. It did come out a little bit later than the black and other colors because for a while, the only unlocked color you could get was black. So I got this one. It's blue. It's a very nice color blue. It reminds me of the S7 Edge blue that came out last year that had kind of the copper color side rails. But it's very nice. In true Samsung fashion, the packaging looks very much like the S8 and S8 Plus. So this is just going to be real brief. In here you have your SIM eject tool, some paperwork. Not going to really get into it. You have your adapter going from USB-C to USB-A to transfer. You have a micro USB to USB-C adapter, so you can use some of your old cables. So there's that. It's nice that they include it. You have your quick charge power brick, and you have headphones, power adapter. I believe you have different ear tips and different stylus points for your S Pen. So a lot more stuff than a normal Galaxy unbox, but all the stuff that you would normally see in the Note, especially with the S Pen extras. So my thoughts on the Note. Well, the Note obviously is a fantastic phone, especially when you have the S Pen with it. I did say in my video that my smartphone of the year was the Note 8, and that comes for a bunch of reasons. So the S Pen is certainly very functional. I see myself using it a decent amount, but I don't see it being the driving force for why I would choose the Note phone. Things like the fingerprint sensor and the awkward spot near the heart rate monitor in this lineup, or near the camera in the S8s. That stuff is interesting. You know, TouchWiz, or as Samsung calls it now, the Samsung Experience, has gotten much better in the past year or so since they were on Android Nougat. And, you know, the problem of Bixby is still there. You can now disable the button entirely, but still the fact that there's an extra button on your phone just dedicated to something you probably won't use, because Google Assistant is much better, much more conversational than Bixby, Siri, Alexa at this point, just seems kind of like a waste. But really, where this phone shines is in its screen. So even in the video, as I'm looking at it, it looks like the icons are just floating above the wallpaper. And really, this screen is, without question, one of the nicest screens that I have seen this year, 2017 being, as well as just on a smartphone in particular. You know, the only other screen that was as nice was the iPhone Xs, and that was also made by Samsung. So I really can't discredit Samsung for their work with displays. I love the premium feel of this phone. You do have the glass sandwich, which a lot of flagships have been doing this year, but it does make it look really nice. And I'll say the one big dig against the Pixel 2 is that they didn't have the same feeling. The Pixel 2 is definitely an expensive phone. It is a premium phone, but when you hold these two side by side, the Note 8 feels way more premium in general. So Samsung does not have Android Oreo on their flagships yet. They are doing a beta on the S8 and S8 Plus right now. There is leaked Note 8 software for Android Oreo, but right now I guess it's only for AT&T carrier variants, and you can get some bloatware and things like that. And it, for most users, it's going to be more of a hassle than a help at this point, being that it is very much a beta software. You know, the experience on the Note 8 is certainly a great one. You know, everything is very fast, very snappy. You know, you can do your live messages with your S Pen. You have your Apps Edge over here. You can set it up to multitask right off the rip. You have your screen grabs in a clipboard-esque style. So if you have a tracking number that you want to save for future reference, and you keep tracking it, you keep waiting to see where that package is, it's going to be on the side there. That's very helpful. You know, there's a lot of settings that can go in there. You still have the 3.5mm headphone jack, so you don't have to give up your great set of wired headphones just because they're getting rid of that. You have a lot of one-handed features. Again, I'll come back to the display. There is a lot of other options for that. You can throttle your resolution down to save battery, so you can crank it all the way up to the 2960 by 1440. Generally, I leave mine on 2220 by 1080 just for battery savings, and you can throttle that all the way down to save on battery life. So obviously everyone knows the fiasco with the Note 7 and the battery, so they did shrink the battery. So battery life is okay. I notice I get better battery life out of my Pixel, whether that has a lot to do with optimizations in Android 8, whether it has to do with the display, how it handles things. I don't really know, but I do know that if I use both of these phones for the same amount of time, my Pixel will have more battery life at that point. And really, you wouldn't go wrong with this phone. I would recommend this, 10 out of 10 times. The reason why I come back to the Pixel versus the Note 8 for a phone that I use every day is mainly the camera. So if I had two phones that I could use all the time, I would probably use the Note 8 for work, and I would use my Pixel 2 for my personal, just because if I'm looking to get that one chance photo opportunity, whether it be with my animals, my pets, going outside and seeing something amazing, I would trust my Pixel 2 more to get that shot right the first time than the Note 8. That is not saying the Note 8 camera is bad, because the Note 8 camera is far from it. They have the live focus for your bokeh effect, where you can tweak that blur both after you take the shot and before for more or less. It does have very good focus tracking or auto tracking, or determining your foreground from your background. So it does a very good job at that. I would just say that Google's AI that they use to get their bokeh, to get their HDR, is just better. There will be instances where I've seen photo samples of taking a picture of a sunset over water. The Note 8 gets it more dramatic with some really nice colors in the sunset, the oranges, the blacks, and the Pixel actually brings more detail into the photo, but it almost loses some of that cinematic experience to the photo. So there's going to obviously be always situations where this camera is going to be better than the Pixel. Pixel might take a little better than the Note, just like the Pixel could take better than the Huawei Mate 10, and so on and so forth. And there's going to be instances where they're very comparable, almost near indistinguishable from one another. So with that, this is my very brief rundown of the Note. Coming into 2018 with a lot of new technology coming around the corner, with Samsung talking about their S9s in February at CES. I think this phone will still be a contender coming into it, with the only difference of the new S9s. I guess the design is going to be similar, but they're probably going to implement Snapdragon's 845. So again, you will see performance and battery life improvements with every coming year of the new processor. But as far as this phone today as it sits, I would still rank this phone probably one of the best, if not the best, for 2017. It is certainly my favorite for 2017 for the all-around best package of camera, battery life, software. The UI has gotten a lot better. I do like stock Android better than Samsung's experience, but it has improved very much since the days of TouchWiz in the Galaxy S5s, S6, and things like that. The S Pen is a nice, helpful addition. It isn't a make or break on the phone, but it does provide a sense of functionality that you wouldn't have with just using your finger. And really, there's nothing I could say bad about the phone, other than I really, really wish Samsung could get better with updates. And they have been. They definitely have been getting better, especially with their unlock models, which used to get really neglected in the past with updates. They have gotten much more improved, and they are saying that Android Oreo will be to the S8s and the Note 8 early 2018. So I'm looking forward to that, to see what Android 8 brings to the Note 8. Hopefully it's a very good pairing, and maybe it'll take back my spot that I use every day for my Pixel. But and just a little sidebar, I use the speaking case in the blue. It does look nice. It's a kind of a nice combination of form and function. It gives a little protection on the corners because, of course, the Infinity display is very fragile and very expensive to try to fix. So with that, this is my quick video of the Note 8. I hope everyone had a very safe and happy New Year's, and looking forward to what things are to come in 2018. So, as always, please like, share, subscribe, and comment if you appreciated this video. Shout out to Nala Bear checking out the phone. But we will see you soon.